What's up, everybody? I'm Harrison Graham on Chicago Bears Now. We're going to get into our Bears winners and losers from today's preseason game against the Tennessee Titans. I got 5 winners. I got 5 losers to break down here on today's show. So let's go ahead and dive in. The Bears get it done at 23-17 over Tennessee as Justin Fields, 3 for 3, 129 yards, 2 touchdowns. Inflated stats, no doubt about it. I'm going to talk about him a little bit more in a second. Roschon Johnson led the team in rushing with 44 yards. DJ Moore took one of those catches for 62 yards and a touchdown. Now, before we get into the weeds of this and break down the winners and losers, I do want to talk about the quarterback because I don't have him in a winner or loser category. The stats will tell you he played awesome. I don't think he played bad by any means, but he threw 0 balls beyond the line of scrimmage. I don't think that was by design. I don't think Luke Getsy and Matt Eberflus, when they drew up their game plan, thought that 2 throws behind the line of scrimmage would go for 50-plus touchdowns. Hey, that's great, right? That's why you get playmakers like DJ Moore. That's why you run the screen game, because sometimes you can pop one like they did with Khalil Herbert. But Justin Fields' 3 throws. Here's how I'll break it down. First play of the game, play action. Kari Blasingame flips into the flat at fullback. Sidearm flick, it was actually really nice around the defensive end. He picks up 10 yards. Second throw of the game, it was a quick wide receiver screen that was actually not a great throw. It was on DJ Moore's back hip. He kind of had to turn back to catch it. You want to throw that on the front hip, front shoulder. But that's why you go get DJ Moore, right? Because DJ Moore caught it and was off to the races, had great blocking, 62-yard touchdown. His only other throw, maybe the most impressive play he made because he was under pressure. It was a designed screen. Took Herbert a little time to slip out, so he evaded pressure, used his mobility, and flipped it out to Herbert, who had great blocking for a 50-plus yard touchdown. Did Justin Fields play bad? Not at all. I thought he was fine, but it's kind of an incomplete evaluation. We didn't really get to see that much from him. So stats look great. I don't think he was awesome. I don't think he was bad. I think it's an incomplete grade. I hope we get to see more next week. What do you guys think? Grade Justin Fields against the Titans. Type A, B, C, D, or F. I thought the screenplay, pocket maneuvering was really good. I like the sidearm flick. DJ Moore throw needs to be on the front hip, but at the end of the day, get the ball to the playmakers. I love the play calling from Getsy to have him settle in early. In a normal game, we'd obviously get to see him build on those things. A, B, C, D, or F. Grade Justin Fields against the Titans. All right, let's get into some winners and losers now. DJ Moore at wide receiver. The guy's going to be a stud. We were just talking about it. That's why you need a number 1 receiver, because you know what a number 1 receiver does? He makes plays even when things aren't perfect, even when the throw isn't great, even when things break down. When a quarterback has that guy that he can trust, and that's not necessarily what the play was today because it was a quick throw without any sort of reading the defense, but in key situations, DJ Moore is going to get the football. Like, for him to take that quick throw on the back shoulder and just turn it up for 62-yard touchdown, it's just the ultimate, like, yeah, this is why you go get that guy moment, right? Like, you didn't have that guy last year. I love Darnell Mooney. He's not taking that to the crib, though. So, DJ Moore, I think it was just kind of proof of why you need to get a number 1 receiver for a young quarterback. You love to see that come to fruition on literally basically the first play of the preseason for the Chicago Bears. All right, let's go to Khalil Herbert, who had the other big touchdown. What Khalil Herbert needed to work on this year? Pass protection and catching the football. Well, he had a 50-plus yard touchdown catch. That definitely helps. 56-yarder on a screen. I thought he did a good job slipping out. Now, he kind of bobbled the ball momentarily, so you'd like to see him catch the ball cleanly, but you need to see him be more of a factor as a pass-catching running back this year. That has been an area that has not been a strength of his. We saw it on display today. Had a couple of nice carries as well. I think he had about a 12-yarder on a toss play. So I think he's pretty clearly RB1. Kudos to Cody Whitehair and Ja'Tyre Carter getting downfield on that screenplay to help spring him free. But it was good to see him show off that ability because that is not a part of his game that we have seen a ton of early on in his career. Sub for Bears Dubs. Hit that subscribe button here on Chicago Bears Now. We're going to be live for every watch party this year. Bears are 1-0 in the preseason. Hey, it works. Hit that sub button. We will continue to keep you guys in the loop with everything surrounding this team. Injury updates, and by all accounts, Bears came out of this injury-free. That was good. Javon Dexter left briefly, but he came back. So That's exciting and a positive. So don't miss out on any of our coverage. It is Bears Now by Chat Sports. Subscribe and turn on notifications. All right, let's go to the defensive side of the ball. Trevis Gibson, who's been under the microscope in the last 3 or 4 days, ever since the Bears depth chart came out. He was listed as 4th string, a guy who has played a lot the past couple of years, had a disappointing year last year after a breakout year in 2021. All the guy did is go out there and make plays. Trevis Gibson today, pulling up his stats here, 5 tackles, 3 of those solos, had a sack, 3 QB hits in limited snaps. He came to play, and he needed to. He was on the outside looking in my opinion, based on the initial depth chart. I'd say he's firmly back on that bubble, if not on the right side of the bubble. He played angry today. He made plays. He was consistently in the backfield. Had a nice tackle on a run play, too, that looked like it was going to bust for 6 or 7 yards, and he kind of just swung his arm out there and tripped up the running back. That was a nice play. He was everywhere. I mean, you look at the depth chart that came out from the Bears, he wasn't even in the 3 deeps. I have to put him in the bottom corner based on where the Bears have him listed. He was listed behind DeMarcus Walker, who didn't play today with an injury, Rasheem Green, Terrell Lewis, who we'll get to. He was fantastic. He was listed behind all of those guys. Trevis Gibson, to me, made a statement, and maybe the Bears were challenging him based on where they put him on the depth chart. Maybe they haven't liked how he's looked in practice. Well, lights came on today, and he played really well. So positive sign for him. Hopefully he can build on it. How about rookie defensive tackle Zacch Pickens? Out of him and Javon Dexter, the rookie defensive tackles, Pickens played better. He had a sack. Sack Pickens, baby. We're getting that going here on Chicago Bears Now. But Zacch Pickens, who we have not heard about as much as we have Dexter in the preseason, I thought he flashed a couple of times. He had that sack, 4 tackles as a whole. Also had a TFL, which is nice. He popped a couple of times. That was really good to see. And when they double-dipped the defensive tackle in the draft with Dexter and Pickens, my first thought was, okay, you need one of these guys to pop as a rookie. You don't need them both to be great as rookies. Give me one. I don't care who it is. Today it was Pickens, so that was very, very nice to see. Terrell Lewis, who we have heard nothing but great things about going back to OTAs. The first time we saw him in terms of standing out, he jumped off sides on a 3rd and goal at the 5, which moved it up 2.5 yards. After that, though, he was dynamic. He had 2 sacks, including a strip sack of, I believe, Malik Willis. They were rotating him and Will Levis a lot. I think it was Willis who fumbled, but Terrell Lewis is making this team. Trevis Gibson had a good day. Lewis is clearly ahead of him. He's got speed off the edge. This is a player out of Alabama several years ago, 3-4 years ago, who's had a lot of injuries in the NFL, but he's starting to look like a guy that we thought he could be coming out of college. 2 tackles, 2 sacks, a TFL, and a strip sack. That's getting it done in a preseason game, fellas, so he's in a good spot to make this team. I really was impressed with what he was able to do. Now, who is the biggest Bears winner in this game against the Titans? You could argue it's Trevis Gibson just based on what he needed to do, right? Things were not looking good for Trevis Gibson in terms of where he was on the initial depth chart. But if you had to pick one guy, who was the Bears' biggest winner in the preseason opener against Tennessee, drop his name down in the comments section. Before we get to some losers, BetUS sponsoring today's show, our sportsbook partner here at Chat Sports. If you want to go bet on the Bears' second preseason game against the Colts or some games later today or tomorrow, BetUS is the place to do it. Go to chatsports.com/beardown. Promo code beardown. By the way, you just want to get some juicy ads. Sorry, chatsports.com/bears. Promo code beardown. Link's right there. My mistake. Promo code beardown for that deposit bonus. By the way, divisional odds, go bet on the Bears. I think they're plus 400 still. It's a wide open division. I think it's decent value. Chatsports.com/bears, promo code beardown to get started today. All right, we got to get some losers. Velus Jones, guys. Jesus. Bayless Jones Jr., it's just not good. You drafted this guy in the 3rd round, which I like a lot of what Ryan Poles has done, but that was an overdraft. There's no doubt about it. He was a 25-year-old rookie last year, 6-year college guy who was mostly a special teams guy, and he's not good as a punt returner. You drafted him to be an elite returner and a gadget guy on offense, and he can't catch punts. He was back there for 2 punts today. The first one he let bounce, which I'm not going to grill him for that. It was a short punt and, dead sprint return on it. I get that. He let that bounce, caught it, got 10 yards. Cool, that's fine. Second one, he let bounce again, and he clearly could have caught that one. Clearly. Plenty of time. And the bounce was higher. He waited for it. He should have just let it go at that point. It wouldn't have been a great rep, but no turnover. Right as it hits his fingertips, he gets popped, and it's a muff punt, and Tennessee recovers. You can't have it, man. Velus Jones, bad day for him. I don't know if you can give him more chances as a punt returner. He muffed 3 as a rookie, and then they had to get him out of there for Dante Pettis. He muffs 1 of his first 2 today, and both hit the ground. He let both punts hit the ground. I just don't know where you go from here. He had a key third down catch from P.J. Walker. Great, cool, but it's just not a good situation. What I found weird as well, 0 kick returns for him. He was listed as the starting kick returner. They had Tyler Scott back there, so I don't know. I don't know where it goes from here for Velus Jones, but I know today was not great for him. Now let's talk about Tyler Scott, who had a fumble, caught a slant, and did a good job of breaking the first tackle. I was like, okay, this is going to be a nice little chunk play. And then the second defender punched the ball out. Got to be secure with the ball. I don't think that's as bad as letting a punt drop and muffing it, but you got to have ball security. This game got sloppy in the second and third quarters. Both teams were turning it over. Tyler Scott's fumble was a part of that. I hope we see a little bit more of him in the second game. I wonder if he gets more opportunities as a punt returner. I think he caught 1 today, but not great on the fumble. He's a rookie, so he gets more of a pass. Bayless Jones, he's been here for a year, man. Like, you got to figure it out. Let's go to P.J. Walker. P.J. Walker, the first throw of the game for him after he checks in was an awful interception. It was like a deep corner that now I do wonder if this was one of those like miscommunications where Equinemius kind of pulled off on a deep out for the like soft spot of the zone and PJ threw more of the corner. So that could explain it. But just watching it live, you're like, that's not near anybody. That's bad. And look, the reports out of camp have mostly been negative on P.J. Walker. He had a good practice on Thursday, but all in all, he's been airmailing footballs. He's thrown some interceptions. It's not a huge deal. He's the backup, but the way Justin Fields plays, where he's going to run a lot, there's going to be maybe a moment this year where he gets nicked up and P.J. Walker's got to play. So I need to see some more consistency out of him. It was a bad interception. Maybe you could chalk it up to a miscommunication, but either way, it was not pretty. Overall, he went 4 for 8 for 19 yards. That's not very good. All right, starting defense. Now, I do want to throw a couple caveats. Tremaine Edmonds did not play. Yannick Ngakoue did not play. Jaquan Brisker did not play. But the opening drive of the game, Tennessee with Malik Willis, they're someone who's not even for sure their backup, competing for the QB2 job with Will Levis. No Derrick Henry either, so backup QB running back, some other backups, straight down the field for a touchdown. Not great. I thought the defense after that settled in, 8 sacks as a whole, but that opening drive, you got to show more resistance. I mean, the first play, Willis on a bootleg throws across his field, and you're like, oh, God, that's a bad decision. Wide open receiver. Busted coverage. Now, I do want to point out a couple things. Tyreek Stevenson started, played a lot, played pretty well. Almost had a pick 6, had a breakup. Got 2 hands on it. It was kind of high, so couldn't quite squeeze it, but that was a nice play. He had a couple of physical tackles, but as a whole, that opening drive was not impressive to me. I need to see more from the starting defense, but I thought after that the defense as a whole settled in. Deontay Foreman, this is not one I'm really going to dwell on because he only had 3 carries, but he didn't really pop to me. 3 carries, 9 yards. I thought Herbert was more impressive. I thought Roschon Johnson was more impressive. And you could argue Travis Homer, even though it's against third-string guys, 6 carries, 25 yards, he popped a little more too. I'm not concerned by any means. I still think Foreman's safe to make this team, but nothing really stood out to me. So I'll mention him in the losing category as well. Who was the Bears' biggest loser against the Titans in the preseason opener? If you had to pick one name, it's got to be Velus Jones. I mean, the biggest thing with him last year was he couldn't catch the ball on punts, and he muffed one today off a bounce. Not good. I'm going Velus Jones is my biggest loser today. Let me know what you guys think. Biggest Bears loser against the Titans.